One of the best gifts you can give yourself as a career person, as a chief executive, as a top management level, is the ability to communicate your value effectively. The ability to communicate your vision, the ability to communicate what your company believes in, what your company stands for, and all of that. One of the most effective ways of communicating is connecting with the people that you're communicating with. Hello, welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm super excited to have you here with me today. Like every time I come across you, I just want to inspire you. I want to encourage you. I want to leave you with some nuggets that can help you in your career journey. And today I'm speaking to you, especially if you are high up there. You don't even need to be high up there. If you desire to be up there, I always say this, that if whatever career you're in, if you don't have any intention of getting to the top, then you have no business being there. So life is not about playing down always. It's okay to start from the bottom, but it's not okay to remain there. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the role of connection in communication. All right, there's this saying that what you're doing is speaking so loudly, I cannot hear what you're saying. So it's another way of saying action speaks louder than words. So when we talk of communication, I've talked to us before on communication about the fact that communication has the verbal part and it has the non-verbal. Incidentally, only 7% of your verbal communication is believed, like comes across as something people want to believe. 7% of everything, like I'm talking to you, the 7% of face-to-face communication is what words account for. Your words account for just 7% of that. And then 38% of that now accounts for what people, the way that you communicate. So that's your tone of voice. So when you're communicating, there are three main areas. You have your words, you have your tone of voice, and then you have your body language. So your words account for 7%. Your tone, how you come across, are you angry? Are you, calm? Are you boring? Are you lively? Are you excited? Just that tone, it comes across in your voice. Are you being formal and professional? Whatever, it comes across in your tone of voice. And then 58% of that communication is based on what people see, and that's your body language. So people are watching you, they're looking at your facial expression, they're looking at the way your carriage, they're looking at, how you if I'm talking to you about something, for instance, I have a vision for everybody in the company. This is where we're going. It's a new year. There's so much that we're going to do. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then I'm communicating it, okay, we think, and with a very boring way that people, just lose interest in. It is not effective. So I'm going to tell you 4 things you can do, or 4 ways to connect with people when you're communicating with them. And it will take I guarantee you, it will go like it will do wonders for you as a communicator. So the first thing is that you need to be mindful of what people see. Like I just said, what people see. They say like 85 to 90% of what we see in terms of learning, we remember, as against only 15 or less than 15% of what we hear. And so that's why you find like sometimes in teaching children, we have teaching aids, we have cartoons, have you ever wondered that children, I remember when my kids were growing up and they would watch like cartoons and then they know all the songs. So nobody has really sat down to say, I'm teaching you how to sing. They know the names of the characters, they know all of that because it's visual. Visual communication is very it sticks with you. It sticks with you. You're seeing it, and it goes a long way. So people, you need to be mindful when you're communicating. You need to know that beyond what you're saying, people are watching you. They're reading in between the lines of what you're saying. The things you say and the things you do not say are all part of your communication. So what I'm talking, the way maybe you pause, the way you your expression on your face, your courage. For instance, you're called up to give a presentation. How do you walk up to the podium? Are you smart? It sends a message. It be all those things. People sometimes before you begin, you have just 7 seconds or 4 seconds to catch people's attention when you're coming. If you cannot do that within the first 4 to 7 seconds, you may lose your audience. So you need to show up strong, you need to show up powerfully, you need to put life into what you're doing. You need to be sure of what you're, because again, if you're not sure of what you're saying, I'm going to come to that. But if you're not sure of what you're saying, you cannot communicate it effectively. You cannot connect with people. So you can imagine if you're talking to people, you're warm, you're friendly, you laugh. If it's your team, they know that, you can give someone a high five here. You can ask somebody about their family here. You're just that kind of person. If you're connecting with the people, they're seeing you. So that's it goes beyond your words. It also goes to say that, this person cares. This person, is actually telling the truth. Because if you're saying something that you don't own that message, you're just like, okay, they sent me. I'm the director, I'm the head of department. So the boss said I should tell you. That kind of attitude. You cannot motivate people to do things. You cannot motivate your team to break records and to do amazing things and to rise in their careers, and it will also affect you rising. The second way that you need to connect with people is intellectually. And so this is what they say usually: know your message, know your content, and know yourself. So what are you talking about? How competent are you? How competent are you? I remember when I was working as the festival director for a film festival, and the head of the film festival unit. And I remember one particular incident. I was attending a training by the Deutsche Welle in Germany, and part of the training was that you're supposed to, like, at the beginning stages, you go with the instructor, they give you 3 minutes, they put a camera in front of you, and you just say something about your festival for 3 minutes. So I went, and then I started talking. And then at a point, and I now noticed that she left her camera and she was looking at me, and I was, but the truth was, I was just engrossed in what I was saying. And by the time I now decided to pause, because I was like, I think 3 minutes should have passed. And she's like, it's 8 minutes, but I just loved what you were saying. And she took a particular interest in me. She was like, okay, so how do you do this? She took a particular interest in my festival, because it was like I was pitching my festival to her. And I was now making her very interested in it. So this was just even like a class exercise. It wasn't a real pitch, but they were doing that because they were also going to give us opportunities to meet with actual people that could fund things and could do all of that. So knowing, and then I had all my figures, I had all the data, I knew it, I knew what to. So as a professional, especially the more you rise to the top, your ability to communicate will affect you significantly. If you're not able to say, because you can't be the boss and you don't know what you're doing, and the people under you know much more. Let me share a story with you, just to to drive this point home. So there was this story that was told about, there's this man, I think he's a poet or so, and so he was invited, for, like, it was Christmas time, maybe Christmas, and then this family invited them. So there were a lot of people in the house, and then so they had dinner. And then they were now, when everybody was now seated, chatting and all of that, they now said, oh, everybody should share a passage, that encourages. These were faith-based people, a passage maybe from scripture or whatever. And then because he's a poet, he got up and he recited the Psalm 23. And he recited it, and when he was done, everybody applauded him. And then there was this old aunt of theirs that was seated in one corner. She had even dozed off because she was quite elderly. And so they woke her. She was the last person to speak. And they woke her and they said, this is what we've been doing. Can you share one of your favorites? And then she began in her old shaky voice. And she began to recite the 23rd Psalm. And by the time she was done, everybody in the room was in tears. And when this man, the poet, was leaving and he was being seen out by his host, and somebody raised the issue that about the difference when he recited the same psalm, there was an applause, And when she recited it, there were tears. And he said, I know the psalm, but she knows the shepherd. So that's the difference. How well do you know? Because that is the effect you get. Because a lot of times your communication, you don't just communicate for communicating's sake. You communicate because you want to get people to do something. You want to send a message to somebody and elicit an action, a response from them. You want to motivate them. You want to inspire them to do something. Now, the third area is emotionally. So we're emotional people, creatures, human beings. We tend to, we're moved by our emotions. Connecting with people at that emotional level is a great, even in sales. You want to sell things to people. That's why you hear people talking about the pain point. What is the pain point of your client? Bring it before them. This is what is happening. You understand? Because it elicits, it brings up something in them, It's the poet Maya Angelou. She said, people will never forget the way you make them feel. So as somebody that is communicating, there's a way you can talk to people as if they don't matter. Let me say this here. Communication is all about the other person. It's not about you. Every time you get a chance to speak up at a meeting, to make a presentation to people, add up all the experience of all those people in the room, it will probably be more than whatever you think you have. Somebody said charisma is more about attitude than anything. So your attitude, like they say, will determine your altitude as somebody that wants to be effective in communicating. And then the last one, and not the least, is also now your words. Yes, you may say, like I started off by saying, words account for 7%, but do you know that words are still powerful? 2 nations can go to war on the strength of words. A man and a woman are joined together as husband and wife. That joining is just words. It's just somebody speaking some words, and this one saying this one say, and I pronounce you man and wife. That's it. Words. So words are powerful. Words are creative. Even scripturally, the Bible says that God created everything by the word of his mouth. He spoke them into being. And so you need to be careful, especially as a leader. You need to be careful what you say to people. You need to be careful the kind of words that come out of your mouth. They must be words that affirm. They must be words that encourage, that builds unity, that foster team spirit, that help make, words that can make, it is words that people speak and get people to go out and kill. Somebody will make a speech and then he's making the speech and people are shouting, yeah, and we're going to deal, these people are wicked, and you find that he's stirring them up for war just by words. So you can actually create a phenomenal career if you know how to use your words. You're talking to your boss, you know the right words to use, you know how to speak, you know how to communicate, you know how to make people feel good. When people leave you, they should have that sense of feeling it's not about you. You should make them feel good about themselves. So with these 4 things, I hope I've been able to convince you that you need to go beyond communicating to connecting. And if this video has helped you, like I'll always say, click on the like button, share to someone that you will find it helpful. And of course, if you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you and bye-bye.